Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Caitlin and I'm the wonderful Wiccan here on YouTube. Today I'm actually filming in my local library, so I'm trying to keep as quiet as possible. I had a very interesting morning. I got stuck in the elevator. I mean, it was like for 5 minutes, but it was still freaking hot. Those are the security guards passing, so I was just getting a wave. Um, Today we will be doing 4 cursed or haunted items. One of these is actually up for debate because people say it doesn't exist, but we'll get to that. So number one, well, technically number four because I don't think it's as cursed. Are stolen Pompeii artifacts. So everybody knows what Mount Vesuvius is. It's a volcano that is actually considered dormant right now, so it could explode again. So Mount Vesuvius erupted on August the 23rd, 79 AD, which was shortly before, a couple of days after they had celebrated the festival called Vulcanalia, which was in honor of the god Vulcan, who was the god of both beneficial and malevolent fire. So here's the thing about the cursed items. People have taken little bits and pieces from Pompeii. However, they shortly return them afterwards with an apology note because they have experienced a big string of bad luck, and that kind of shows you that one, it's illegal to do that now. Well, it's illegal anyway, and two, why do something that why take something from a place that has such negativity attached to it? No amount of sage will save you from that. Um, and number two on the list is the cursed mummy of the Titanic. This one is up for speculation because they say it never really existed, but we don't really know because it could have been dissolved by now. So a princess's mummy was discovered in Luxor, Egypt in the late 1890s, and it was sold after passing through a couple of hands. It was sold to the British Museum by a London businessman after 3 family members were injured in a car accident, and his house had caught fire. Um, Needless to say, about the past 4 owners, they all died. Sometimes mysteriously, sometimes horribly. Um, so the thing about one of the cursed parts of it is when it was at the British Museum and it was put up on display even after several workmen that were trying to get up the stairs were injured or died. Uh, the night watchman heard hysteric banging and crying coming from the coffin like the princess was alive and trying to get out. Um, so they had moved it from that display down to the basement. The supervisor was found dead on his desk after that. And then so they sold it to a American man because nobody in Britain wanted it apparently after they heard about all the deaths. And they say that is one of the reasons why the Titanic sunk, because the businessman had brought it onto the Titanic to transport it to his home in America, and apparently that is one of the causes of the Titanic sinking. Next, number two is, of course, King Tut's tomb. Yes, it is a place, but you got to consider all the artifacts that were put in there that have that curse attached to them. So King Tut died at the age of 18, which is actually relatively young at that time. I mean, not as young as a child, but for a pharaoh, relatively young. The curse that was on the door of the tomb, and remember, King Tut's tomb was not originally made for him, so they had to hurry it up a little bit. The curse was, "Death shall come on wings to he who disturbs the peace of the king." And one of the things that made the workers uneasy about opening the tomb was because they had a type of canary called the mining canary. They would release it into tombs that have not been opened before to see if the air was good or bad. If the bird came out, it was good. If bad, no, do not enter. So one day they found a cobra had eaten the canary, and the cobra was still in the cage. And that is what freaked out the locals because the cobra is, of course, associated with one of the protectresses of the pharaoh, the goddess Wadjet, the cobra-headed goddess. She is also pictured as a cobra with wings. The reason why she was put on the pharaoh's crown along with her sister Nekhbet, who is also a protector of the pharaoh, was because they believed that she would spit fire at the enemies. So here's where the curse came into play. Lord Carnarvon, who founded Howard Carter to open the tomb, to find the tomb, died from an infected mosquito bite. That's common, you might say, back then. However, they had found a similar bite on the king, on the mummy. So coincidence? Maybe, maybe not. I'm gonna go with maybe not. And then Howard Carter died from Hodgkin's disease about when he was 60 or 67. I can't remember the exact age. So don't go messing with the dead, please. Please don't. It's never a good thing. Then at number 1, you can actually go see this one without having to get a passport if you're in America, is Robert the Doll. Yeah, you might have said I should put Annabelle. Robert is was more accessible, is what I can say. Because right now you can't enter the Warren's Occult Museum, from what I've read. So, Robert the Doll was given to Eugene, or Gene as he was known, Robert Otto, in the 1900s. I'm not going to say early, in the 1900s. It was a handmade doll by a staff member of his parents. The doll acted evilly from the start. If anything bad or destructive would happen around the house, any mischief, Gene would say Robert did it. And the thing is, the staff member that supposedly gave the doll to Robert, Eugene, was said to have practiced voodoo and dark magic. And she was mistreated by her bosses, so she was getting back at them. So it's a possessed doll, more than likely. Gene died in 1974, and when the family that bought his parents' house moved in, they found Robert, which had been locked in the attic. And after more bad things happened with that family, they decided to give the doll to the East Martello Museum, which is in Key West, Florida. And the one thing about Robert the Doll is you can't take pictures of them. They don't turn out. They don't work until you leave the museum. So that is the list today. Do you all think I should do a part 2? Let me know down in the comments. Thanks, everybody. Have a good day. Blessed be. Bye.